Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this new video. In this video, we are going to pick out my April TBR or my April hopefuls. I'm usually very bad at sticking to TBR. I just feel like it's fun picking them out. So why don't we call them April hopefuls instead? I kind of like to switch up how I do this every month. So for this month, I am going to pick out some different prompts that I wrote down. Very basic. I feel like everyone does this, but I wanted to try it for so long. I wish I had a cute little mason jar or something to put in the prompts, but I don't. So I have this bowl, but at least the papers are pink. I guess that counts for something, right? I think I'm gonna pick out 6 different prompts so I have a few books to pick when I'm reading in April. I don't think there's not much to say, then let's get started and picking out these prompts. Let's pick our first prompt. I'm really excited. This is so fun. Our first prompt is a genre you never read. Okay, my handwriting is not the best, but I'm so glad I picked this one out. So I have a few genres that I don't usually read. I'm mostly a fantasy reader and sometimes throw in a little romance book here or there, but I never really read like thrillers or mysteries. Dark academia is also a genre I don't read much, even though I really enjoy those books. And classics I never read, and I'm not gonna pick out a classic just because, no. I do have a few thriller books that I have wanted to read for so long now. So I have 3 to choose from. I have Good Girls, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the second book in a Good Girls Guide to Murder series. I read the first one way too long ago. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides something, and You by Caroline Kepnes. And I have wanted to read especially these 2 books for such a long time. This is a book I never think about reading, so this could also be kind of fun to put in there. Might make me want to read this book. I know this series has like such a huge following, but the first book was like fine to me, wasn't anything special. This is really tough. I really want to read these 2. I think I'm gonna pick The Silent Patient. I think this was also my TBR for this month actually, but this book is about a woman who one day just shot her husband and killed him, and she hasn't spoken a word since, and no one knows why she did that. Like, she used to be very normal and then suddenly she went absolutely crazy, and she hasn't spoken since. And we're following this man who's basically working or got a job at the hospital that this woman is at. I think it's like a mental hospital, and basically he's trying to get her to speak and finding out what happened. So it just sounds so interesting. I'm hoping to get into this month. Let's find a new prompt. Okay, a 1-word title. I don't even know if I have a 1-word title. Oh yeah, I do. That's not a book I want to read, please. Something else. Wait, I do. Hold up. Okay. I actually don't really have any books that only have 1 word in the title that I haven't read, but I found 2, and the first one is Scarred by Emily McIntyre. This is the second book in the Never After series. And if you haven't been watching my videos, you know I did not really enjoy Hooked. I actually DNF'd it and then finished it the month after. I just really didn't like it. So I don't know if I'm gonna like this one. I mean, this actually sounds pretty fun. Compared to the first one, sounds like there's more of a plot in this one than in the first. I don't know. And then obviously You by Caroline Kepnes. I just showed it before. Between these 2, I don't know. The cover on this one's kind of making me want to read this just because it's so pretty. I do really love the covers in this series. They're really gorgeous. I think I'm gonna go with You by Caroline Kepnes. Like, I've wanted to read this book for such a long time, and this is the book to the Netflix series You, and I want to read the book before I watch the series, and I really want to watch the series. Lucky pick that I chose this one before. I can have them both in my TBR. Next up. Okay, let's see. A book that you've been putting off. I have so many books. This is hard because books you've put off are books that you don't really want to read right now. I feel like books that you've been putting off are books that you specifically have not chose to read because you don't want to read them right now, not because you've just like... I have cut the list down to 2 books. I will say these 2 books are not necessarily the books that I have been putting off, but I'm constantly like, oh, I'm gonna read that next. And then suddenly there's just another book that I want to read more. So it's kind of like they're always next in line, and I need to read them now. The first book is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I have thought about picking this up so many times the past 2 months. Like, it's insane. I've always thought that I was gonna read this one, and then I've just picked up another book. But this is the first book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. I don't really know what's happening in this one. I just know I really want to read a Lauren Asher book, and people really enjoy the series. It's a billionaire romance, so I mean, I don't know. And the other book we have is The Selection by Kira Cass. This is just a YA dystopian fantasy kind of, I think. I miss this era of books, like the Hunger Games, Shatter Me, dystopian series, so I kind of want to read this one as well. Also because it seems like a cute, fun read. There's also this fairy tale on the back, and I think with the 2 thrillers, this may be kind of cute. Out of these 2, I think I'm gonna go with The Selection. Why not? I want to read this one a little more than the other one, so let's go with this. Our next prompt. Ooh, this is fun. Next up, we have an author that I haven't read before. I have been thinking about doing like a whole video where I read authors that I have not read before. I have a few on my shelves, especially a few that I've wanted to read. I already knew that I was gonna pick up this book if I got that prompt, just because I don't think this book needs an explanation. But I think I'm gonna choose Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I've never read a Jessa Hastings book, and these are just so popular, like literally so popular. The other book I could have chosen was The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, or I could also have chosen You and Me on Vacation, but I'm a little more interested in this one. It's about Magnolia and BJ, I think, name or what they call him, and I think it's kind of like toxic love between those two. I've heard it's also kind of like Gossip Girl, if you enjoy that show, so but there's so much hype about the series, especially at the moment, I feel like, so I just want to see if I enjoy it or not. So that's gonna be fun reading this book. I feel like either you love these books or you hate them. There's not really an in-between. So that's gonna be really fun to see if I enjoy this one. New prompt. Let's see. Okay, we have a colorful cover, and I know which book I'm gonna pick out. I wrote this specifically so I could choose this book. I'm sorry. It's not cheating. It's not cheating. I mean, I do have quite a few books with colorful covers, but not as colorful as this one. The book I chose is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. You cannot tell me that this book is not the most colorful book on any shelf. It's literally screaming orange. This is, at the moment, the last book in the ACOTAR series. This is the 5th one. I think she's currently writing the 6th one, and this is a huge chunk of a book. Like, this is the longest in the series. I don't know why Sarah J. Maas always feels the need to write such long books. This is like 750 pages, but I'm really excited to read this. I absolutely loved A Court of Wings and Ruin, so I just have to read this book. The only thing is, this is not with Feyre as our main protagonist. This follows Nesta, and I have kind of a love-hate relationship with Nesta. Mostly hate. I think she's a little annoying, so I think it's gonna be fun kind of being in her head, seeing how she is, and I've heard there's a lot of character development in this one, so that's also fun. People say that it's kind of either you hate it or you love it because of Nesta. If you hate her, you're not gonna like the book. I've also heard that there's quite a lot of smut in this one. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm really excited to see where the story's taking us. Imagine that this is the last book and then I can say I finished the ACOTAR series. That's kind of insane. I just thought I would never finish it because it's a whole series with chunky books. So okay, let's pick our last prompt. Our last prompt for the month. I picked out a fantasy book. So for my fantasy book, I have chosen The Stolen Heir by Holly Black, and yes, I have already read this book, but the second book came out here in March, and I have not bought it, and I have not read it yet, and it's literally a crime, because I've heard that Juden Carden is quite a lot in that book. And okay, hear me out. I have a theory. I might be completely wrong. Holly Black herself said that the next book she's currently writing in the Elfham universe, yes, another book for the Elfham lovers. It's about something that happened in The Prisoner's Throne, which is the second book to this one. And I've also heard that we find out in the second book if Jude and Carden are having a child. And when people are saying you're gonna find if they have a child in the second book, then obviously they have a child. Without having read The Prisoner's Throne or whatever it's called, I'm thinking that the next book she's writing is a book from Jude and Carden's child's perspective, even though I don't even know if they're having a child. So if they do not, I'm completely off the rails here. But I'm living my dreams. I'm being delusional, and you know what, I'm happy being delusional. I'm happy living in my little dream world. So I just want to reread this before reading The Prisoner's Throne. Oh my gosh, I'm literally so excited. I really have to reread this because I did not enjoy it that much last time, so I don't really remember everything, and I want to be completely in the universe. I want to be completely in the story when reading this next book because I need to enjoy it to the fullest. So oh my gosh, it's just such a good TBR. Like honestly, these were all the books I hoped for. These are really heavy. Okay, this is my April TBR. I feel like we kind of have a color scheme, red, orange tones. This is my April TBR, and we have a good mix of genres here and just a bunch of good books that I wanted to read this month. So I'm so excited. This was so fun picking out different prompts. I still have, okay, you cannot see anything, but I still have quite a lot left. So if you want me to do this another month, please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video in general. If you did, please give it a like. It would make me so happy. And subscribe to my channel. I'm really aiming for the 100 subscribers right now. It always sounds so sad being like, oh guys, like, please subscribe to my channel. But honestly, I would be so glad if you did. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys!